Hey everyone, welcome to the That's Allowed podcast. I'm your hostess, Audrienne McKeon, and today we're here with Melissa Mosher. What's up, Moj?
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm a huge fan. I just want to be wherever you are.
Mosher and I go way back. She's awesome. She can talk, man. So I'm mostly gonna shut the hell up and let her go this episode. But I'm gonna ask the first question and just see where this takes us, babe.
Yeah.
Actually, have you do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yes.
Okay.
Why not? Because that's fun. If I do my call and my performance well today, you'll leave this episode feeling exhausted, motivated, and inspired. Why? Because my name is Melissa Mosher. I am the Savvy Ninja, living, loving, and breeding online content, business, and information for over 25 years. And when I mean breeding, I literally mean that. Let's grab this, pair it, marry it, and go. And so the idea of I love to talk. I love to share experiences, perspective, strategy, and analysis. We did a rough estimate of math and think that since I've joined chat rooms in 1994, I have potentially had 1.6 million conversations.
That sounds about right.
Get on all topics, all venues, all features. No, but that's actually not true because I'm very intentional with where I spend my time. So you'll see a lot of energy there. So the fact that I'm here and I am participating with That's Allowed, it's a big deal. This is a big deal. Agent's a big deal too. So I'm so happy to be here.
All right. So the first question is, what story is the world not getting?
Which is a great question because there are so many stories flying these days. We are in the age of story. What's your story? What's your story? What's your story? And we have everybody kind of bombarding us with our stories. And I thought about this when you asked it because I thought, well, I'm pretty off the, like, I live my life on my sleeve, so to speak. There's not a lot that is mysterious or the story that's not daring, because back to that talking a lot. But the reality is the story that I don't believe I'm telling or that folks don't know about me. You can do amazing things with crippling anxiety and a glorious lack of self-confidence. You do not actually need any of those things to be successful. They do help. They make the path easier for sure. But I think my story coming up next year with the rebrand and stuff is going to be that folks think this might look easy for me, or this is natural, or it's native. It is absolutely not. This is honed, crafted, skilled, fought against, practiced some more, and then fought again. So thank you for continually pulling me out of my little tiny quiet shell. But yeah, you can function with an amazing amount of anxiety that folks never know about.
Absolutely. And, it's just absolutely true that when you meet someone on the street, you never know what they're going through, what's going on with them. So, of course, we try to be kind to everyone we meet. But before we pushed record, you started saying something to me that I think is just so important for everyone to hear, which is that your life can completely blow up, right? The universe can take away from you every excuse that you ever had not to do the thing. And you can still hide in your apartment for 4 months and not do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So which is perfect. So tying that back, a couple years back, so I'm a career executive assistant, corporate stooge, learned the game, did it well, if you ask me. Was able to climb the ladder, do the jobs, get the titles, get all the things. And then in 2016, life fell apart. My Great Danes died unexpectedly. My career ended a job ended, which then triggered a career ending. I had a relationship end. And so I literally drained my savings account, got an apartment, and went and hid for 4 months. I only talked to my mom, I think, and a Jamaican godmother that the universe brought me. So that's interesting too. But coming out of that and kind of where I think I was going when we were prepping is the fact that everything is, so I had this idea of, I want to make impact. I want to create connections. I want to do all these things. Life fell apart and I went, okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. I sort of have this idea, but I should be going down this path of, okay, let me go get a job. Let me go back and get into that thing. The universe decided.
The should. The
Yeah, they
great and
should. You
terrible
should
should.
go update your resume. You should not go backwards in your compensation. You should um, recover from a relationship before getting into the next one. I don't know. Whatever the should is, I have
So
taken
many
the
should.
last 3 years and doing the exact opposite. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, should I be living in the city? Right? And we're looking here now. Here I am, 2.5 years living outside in the middle of nowhere. So all the excuses, sorry, I get excited. All the excuses. My job, I no longer have a distraction of this like incredibly intense career, this consuming relationship, and the business endeavors that we had together. No, I don't have those anymore. I gotta pay for this expensive apartment and live in the city and do all this. Actually, you don't. You're out in the woods. Oh, you're gonna miss all your friends. Nope, divorce took care of that. Don't have to worry about them. Right? And then I have like my best friends are 74 years old. I kid you not. They've lived next door to me where I used to live for 10 years. They lived in that house for 18 years. They decided like 8 months after I moved out here, I think it was about 8 months. And they said, we've decided we're going to sell our house and we're going to buy an RV and we're going to move to Discovery Bay, which is 15 minutes away from me. So here are your best friends. Here is rent that you can pay in your sleep doing nothing. I'm going to take away your jobs. I'm going to take away everything. I feel like the universe has literally said, all your excuses are gone. This is now on you. And then about, I don't know, 4 months after that whole stop with your excuses epiphany happened, you came into my life again and went, hey, remember all those excuses? Remember those things? Remember you were going to talk and speak and whatever? Remember how I get all that out of your way? Now here's Adrienne. Go do it. Go do it.
Absolutely. So it's a funny thing how, we talk about this a lot on this podcast. This is one of those themes that just keeps coming back, which is the sort of leap in the universe will catch you. But there's another side to that too, which is that even if you're not ready to leap, sometimes the universe just pushes you. Okay. Like it's
Yeah.
been long enough. You know,
Mhm.
you've been thinking about it. You've been dipping your toe in it. And it's like the universe is like, no, no, no. You got to be all in, baby. You got to
Mhm.
be all in. And so you are obviously too scared to do this by yourself.
Right.
So I'm just going to help you out and
Yeah.
just take away everything that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And like, I got goosebumps twice while you're saying that because,
Yeah.
and those that have like been in the corporate world probably can relate. But that is so the counter of what I'm not blaming corporate, but that is so the counter of the game that I learned, right? Because
Hmm.
I went into it pretty intentionally. I dropped out of college and went, no, I want to make money. I want to go do that. I'm going to go. And so I feel like I was pretty good at that. But you're not necessarily told or shown or guided to, self-reflect on what you want to do. I think the biggest epiphany for me in all of this, but you don't have to have confidence, push through fear, all of those blah, blah, barf things that I share. But the idea of, I think the biggest epiphany for me in all of this, that whether life is giving you lemons or lemonade or whatever that saying is the fact that you can literally look at your energy and decide how you want to spend it. Like that's it. When we're feeling overwhelmed and confused and unhappy, like all of these things, we got like all these feels and emotions and problems and stuff. How do you want to spend your energy? Like bringing it back to energy, and that's kind of where my head's been in the last year, is how do I want to spend my energy, my free time, my emotional caring, my financial investment. These are all forms of energy that I think I underestimated for the last 35 40 years. And
Uh-huh.
so now it's like, okay, time is money. No, energy is
Hmm.
money. And I want to be more thoughtfully ruthless, as the book would say, about where and how that's spent.
Absolutely. I think you just nailed it right there. Your energy is your life. And where you choose to spend it depends on what kind of life you're going to have and what you choose to focus on.
To be able to take that mindset in such a way, I've got a campaign brewing that goes, does it spark joy? Does it spark coin? If it's no to both, it's got to go. It's
Hmm.
got to go. And the idea of I can decide how my energy is spent. So people will go, oh, but are you doing free work and paid work and blah, blah, blah. No, here it's energy, right? It's energy. This thing, whether currency, like monetary currency, is not the only form of collaboration. That's not the only transaction that we have. Yeah, I can do free events all day long, but if it's for audiences making, less than minimum wage, chances are they're not going to hire me as a one-on-one coach and client. But does that free opportunity give me stage time? Does it give me practice? Do I get to look at strategy? Do I get to practice these mental muscles of triaging and level setting? Where does my priority go? And I think being an EA, executive assistant, for so many years really has given me a leg up on that now, to the point where I'm almost like one of those alert dogs. Wasted time, waste of time, waste of time, waste. If it is not, now that I'm like in the CEO seat, if it is not 3 steps to coin, I don't have time to it. It's got to go. Like, that can go into queue. Never. I don't have time. Right. And so this
That's
idea
so
of like
true.
indexing to hyper.
Yeah, I love that so much because as a former EA myself, I absolutely agree. I think the part of it that I was actually really good at was helping my guy, stay focused on what really
Yeah.
freaking matters. And like, don't get caught up in all the reactive stuff. Don't get caught up, this is just thrown on your plate and suddenly you think you have to drop everything and deal with it. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. It don't work
Mm-mm.
like that.
Mm-mm. No, they just want you to catch it and triage it, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
also learned in my experience, like I've got this last couple of years, I had subcontractors, right? I learned I'm really good at guiding strategy and tactics, but I'm a terrible manager.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to forget about you unless you're in my face asking me, what do I need? That kind of hungry individual. Then once you're in my face, you have my full attention, whatever you need. Right. And so I'm sitting here going, all right, I need to get stuff done. I know I can't do everything. Like, I'm sitting on both sides of it, and then boiling it back down to I hire people to teach me things, right? Messaging coach and an entrepreneur, implementer, and all these other things. And I'm going, but at the end of the day, where's the coin?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, I need to call every exec. If I was an exec that supported you, I want to apologize for double booking you. I want to apologize for booking you back to back. I want to apologize for not giving you the information you need to go into meetings and appointments and make the decisions that need to be made in that appointment. And so I'm sitting here I'm also a Libra too. So I'm always in this like balance mode. But now I am so indexed into do not waste my time. I have so much to do, and it's a different set of urgency than being in corporate, right? Because we still
Yeah.
had much to do. But yeah, this idea of staying focused. Yeah, you got to admin
Big time.
yourself.
Yeah, well, and not only that, I think that people don't even know what their priorities are so much of the time.
Yeah,
They're
or they're
just
or they're not able to pull the task from the process. So
Mhm.
these are like a couple of my coaching students. So I have coaching students. It's the idea of like, we talk about follow-ups. Let's use that as an example, right? Oh, I need to email, I need to follow up with that person. That is not go send an email. That's a task within the process of responding. Go review your notes. Do we have the attachments? Am I responding? What was the last thing I said? Am I giving an action for forward? Da 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 da. So I feel like in my world right now, folks are confusing process and task and just getting so overwhelmed. So they don't necessarily know what's most important. Another example, oh, I've got this new contract app. I'm going to put all my invoices and contracts. And it's going to be this whole big, lovely workflow. So this gal reaches out to me and says, oh, I want to do that. Great. We start talking strategy. Okay, what kind of packages do you want to host? Da, 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 da. Well, this is due tomorrow. Okay, screw the app. We do not need the app right now. What we need is a Google Doc, and we got to get the words right, right? And so the idea of, in her mind, she knew, okay, I've got to get a quote, be prepared to execute this contract and do all these things, right? But I'm struggling. She doesn't know it at the time, but this app, and I don't know how to put my contracts in. I don't even know that my contract's right. Okay, wait, that's not important. Actually, the important thing is getting a doc to this person tomorrow if the conversation goes well. And so I feel like now that's really where, especially the EA skill set comes in, is to be able to separate task and process.
Yes. I think project management is one of those skills that is super undervalued,
Yeah.
but desperately needed.
Yes,
One of the
I've requested from a project manager, can you make an infographic on project management. And she goes, yeah, what would you think? Like we were just chatting and I go, oh, I'd just like it to be how to solve a problem. Do you know the answer? Yes, then you're done. Do you not know the answer? No. Okay, here's what we do, right? And this
Yeah.
idea of having a project manager's mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've been doing more and more as I'm getting more into creation coaching is what I'm calling it now,
Yeah,
where
I
I'm
love
really
that.
helping people take their imaginations and make them into realities. And because I think, people don't really need me to tell them, like, here's your idea, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's helpful to have someone reflect back, like, okay, here's what your idea actually is, here's who it's for, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
What they need is someone to hold their freaking hand through the entire process until, oh, okay, here's the actual project completed. And especially as
yeah.
creative types, I think people just never learned how to think strategically about
Mm-mm.
their time management and about, okay, this is an important creation that needs to get out in
Yeah,
the world. How do I actually make sure that happens? How do I keep myself
right,
accountable to my
right.
own stuff? You
And
know?
managing all of the other parts and pieces. So I have a couple creatives that, like, I joke and say, I'm not a coach, I'm a consultant. I don't care if you win or lose, here's the data. No, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm very
Yes.
much, here you go, here's what I think, you can do what you want, take it, make it your own, right? But I've noticed that with creatives too. That's a blind spot I have because, or I have a blind spot compared to what the creatives do. Like, I just manage my week. I know that just if a client emails me, I don't drop everything I'm doing and go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to get to email on Tuesday. That's when I get that stuff. So for what that's worth, like, I'm the innovation queen, right? So the idea of mixing that creative plus EA, administration, accounting, accountability sort of piece. I have had more non-admins ping me for simple things like, can you help me time block or manage? Like, I don't know how to manage myself as a business,
Yeah.
right? Going like, well, and things I can picture you doing, because this is how I was thinking, my brain thinks, is like, when you have creative spurts, how do you help coach and guide your creatives? Me, I say, write that down, get back to it. But I'm not a creative in that type because I've got, look, no, we got these things, but being able to help guide them back to energy, right? You
Yeah.
have energy. How are we going to spend it? Yeah, we can spend 10 hours on figuring out a contract platform, but even if we get it perfected, is that going to get you coin?
Right? Probably not. And
Probably
certainly
not.
not going to spark your joy.
No, no.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Does it spark joy? Does it spark coin? I mean, that's really what it's all about, right?
And it has to have at least one of the two. Like, long pole goal, it has both joy and coin. If we tag back to the corporate days, right? Everybody has a price. My friends, I found my price. I know how much my soul costs, how much you can put on that check, and I will say yes. And it'll add to the point where the job actually just about kills me, right? So you can sit there and go, great, here's the money, here, the coins here, the coins here. I'm making all the coin, actually more than I had planned. Dang, you mean I need joy too? I was gonna say that's probably one of my biggest disappointments. And it was a disappointment in my 4 months of hiding. You mean to tell me after 15 years of doing this, coin don't make me happy in and of itself?
Shocker.
I have no hobbies. Like, to this day, I have no hobbies. You know what my hobbies are? Working, making 2 other side businesses. I've got an RC business kind of brewing too. So no hobbies, right? I have no non-currency interests. Like, my brain is so wired for energy now that even down to, if I'm going to play a video game, is it going to be something that I can teach somebody on and make money with and stream, or you know what I mean? So it's like, wait, you mean just getting money, just getting coins not enough? Mm,
Mm.
mm. I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be no.
right. And the thing is, so many people don't realize that by following what sparks joy, you actually can get the coin. Maybe not right away, maybe not right
Yeah.
away, but if you're creating value and that value is unique,
Yeah.
somebody gonna pay for that.
Yes. Yes. Because here's the epiphany of all of this. Like, I love this. Like, people are like, whoa, hustlers, and how'd you do it? It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. None of us are special enough that we're the worst.
Right.
Like I have a hustlers academy. We had 8 students in it this year. And I said, look, ladies, because they were all ladies. I was like, look, ladies, I really wish you were the absolute worst because we could market that, but you're not. You're so amazingly average and capable. And me too. Me too. Like average in a good way. We are not so awful that you can't do this. What do you need to get a hustle? To start a hustle? People are like, what do you need to start a hustle? One service, one client, a process to move them through. That's it. That's it. So the other side of the spark joy and coin, yeah, it can spark joy all day long. But girlfriend, if you got no food in your fridge, your joy is out of balance, right? So I think for me, I was so fearful of being in that, oh, I'm going to be joy, you know, right? So I focused on coin because I was like, all right, no matter what happens. And to some extent, that was true. When my life fell apart, I had positioned myself in such a way that I could take care of myself, right? Now I'm sitting here at the time of this recording. I'm 40 years old, not married, no kids, no nieces, no nephews, nothing. Do you know what my goal is now? Taking care of myself when I'm 85. Do you know how
Right.
I'm going to have to do that? With a big old pile of money. You know how I'm going to do it this time? With some joy, right? So the drive and the intent and the money and all that stuff is there, but it's this balance that I've learned. And people always talk about, oh yeah, it's balance. Look, y'all, if I could tell somebody something, you all would have educated me at 16 and I would have come out a perfect human. But we have to like experience these things. And I undervalue joy.
Yeah. I think
Right. But
most
I'm
people do.
going,
I
right. Like,
think
what do
most
you do
people,
in it?
well, I think most people undervalue their own gifts is the bottom line. That what brings us
Oh,
joy,
yeah.
we think must not be important because
Ooh,
it's just fun, right? And fun
yeah.
is not important. And
Yeah.
so when you start thinking about things energetically and looking at how your core desired feelings is actually what you're trying to get, all this other stuff that you do is just about that. Suddenly,
Yeah.
play, suddenly joy, suddenly creating these happy feelings for
Mhm.
yourself becomes important again.
Yeah, I could totally like staring over the precipice here of like I see joy, right? And then roping it in with that anxiety thing too, right? Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm working on my pronouns. I had a pretty good career, pretty lucrative career. And folks, you know, we saw each other on stage and we spoke and stuff. But like the other side of that, I missed flights, I missed interviews, I missed, you know, obscene amounts of work in one job because of this anxiety, pressure, like whatever those sources are. Still got to pay bills, y'all. You know what I mean? So this idea of like I'm trying to find balance, I'm trying to, you know, did a lot of self-remedying that was not necessarily remedying, but thought that that was what I needed to do at the time, getting swept up in the corporate, the socializing, right? When we think about joy at the time, I can remember going, oh, joy, I'm going to be at happy hours and I'm going to show like I love my job, but it's still all centered around this, what other people think of you, do they like your service if they do in this, and when you're in the machine, you don't actually, or for me, I couldn't like pull out and go, you know what? I'm actually not social. I actually don't like any of this. And the reason why, so I had this epiphany. I said, I don't, for years, I thought I was a people person with anxiety problems. Turns out I'm an introvert with people problems because since quarantine, yeah, bullets and, you know, all of this other stuff, like there's a lot of anxiety going on. I've never felt more calm, in control, grounded, right? This idea, well, I'm now living in the woods. You know what I mean? Like I'm not interacting with the volume of people. So yeah, oh, I'm an extrovert with anxiety problems. No, I'm an introvert with people problems.
It's so funny, isn't it? How we have this story about ourselves and we tell ourselves that story over and over and over again until it feels
Mhm.
very true. And then one day it gets tested and we go, wait a second, that
Mhm.
story, that's not true at all. It's not true
Right.
at all. And here I've been carrying around this story, telling everybody, this is me, this is me, this is me.
Mhm.
It's so funny. I think back to when I was working at Qualtrics and I
Mm.
had that same kind of experience where it was like, I thought of myself as I was the fun one, right? I
Yeah.
was the social one. And back at
Yes.
PlayFab, that was true
Yep.
because that was, that was the value I provided,
Right.
to the company, was that I was the kind of um, heartbeat of the culture. And I
You have
loved
a
that with
layer of
that.
nurturing that's so appealing to me. Like I was like, I wish I could install that. But yeah, you have this native layer of nurturing that just kind of wraps around people.
Well, and it worked really well at PlayFab because I really just resonated with that group.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just a
yeah.
really smart, like nerdy, group of people. And those are my peeps, right? I was like,
Right,
nerds,
right.
let's hang out. And then I got to Qualtrics and it was like I was with the cool kids. And all of a sudden I didn't want to spend time with any of them. And there was a couple of
Hmm.
people that I loved and we spent time together, but like the majority of the people that I met there, I was just like, I don't get you. And I
Hmm.
don't like this doesn't work for me. And so I became, like you said, I was the one who would, leave early and like
Yeah,
just go
yeah.
home.
I just
And
can't.
yeah, and this quarantine experience has been really interesting for me because and I think for a lot of,
Yeah,
people who thought they were extroverts,
yeah.
because it's been so peaceful and calm and lovely in a lot of ways. And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I would be going absolutely out of my gourd if I did not have my husband here with me.
Yeah, right, right, right.
So it's very important to me to have some kind of, person that I can like
Right,
bounce
right.
ideas
High
off
speed
of. And
internet. That's my, I got, as
exactly,
long as I have high
exactly.
speed, I'm good.
So true, so true. And that's the other thing is like just
Yeah.
texting. I text with my
Oh,
friends,
yeah.
every day. Like we're in constant contact, even if we're not in-person
Yeah.
contact. And that stuff has become a real lifeline to me. But I realized that the in-person interactions, meh.
Yeah, there's such a different type to it too. And now that we're in this going, okay, everything's virtual and lockdown, all this other, bridging that into, okay, so I'm a retired gamer, nerdy, right? Like I've been in chat rooms, news groups, and online forums for 25 years, right? ICQ for life, y'all. Um, these 8 months, it seems like the world found the internet for the first time, right? So then there's
Surprise!
this layer of like, oh my gosh, how do we do, keep people engaged and remote and da 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 and all of this. And I got to tell you, like the entrepreneur world is laughing at y'all and me, myself going, what do you think we have been doing since the internet came here? It's this idea of, oh, well, are we going to go back to in person? Apples and bananas, man. Worry about the apples when it's apple season. We in banana season right now. How do you deal with what you have now? Are
Yeah.
we going to go back to in real life? Maybe, but I've got a client that figured out how to make $650,000 on a webinar. You know how much easier that is than doing an in real life $1.6 million event?
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend, I'm sitting here like these guys are sitting here going, dude, we'll go back to the in real life, but if we think about it in terms of market, right? These like big events, I'm biased because I'm in virtual production right now, but um the idea of they've spent so much time, labor, and energy in pivoting to virtual and building these events, experiences, platforms. There's over 26 virtual platforms now outside of Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you going to do? Like when conferences come back, we're just going to throw all that away. The internet's not going away. You've reached a new level of audience that wouldn't, like for me personally, the introverts in the world, y'all, if I never have to go to another in-person conference again, this is a happy
Mm-hmm.
ninja. So now
Absolutely.
you're rather than looking at it as, ooh, how do we pivot and navigate? It's almost like the universe has given us another revenue stream. Your virtual events, your conferences, your mastermind groups. I'm thinking of all the clients I have. Academic facilitation, right? I've got a client that we staff their producers to help teachers and students, and they sit in Zoom and we do we don't do lesson plans, but we help follow things up. So it's this idea of, okay, we have to pivot and change. No, we just opened up a new lane. Is really kind of what I feel like all of this has been. Oh, we got to change. No, you have to step up. I think that's the other part too that I was really excited about this year, especially admin world. There is no more death by cubicle. Thank you. You either step up or you fade out. There's no more banging on our high chairs. You are now competing with folks that don't sit in your geography in a way that you didn't do before. All of these
Mm-hmm.
VAs, online business managers, as these big box companies start to hire out. Um, rather than change. Like the opportunity, the door is open. If you have an internet connection and the ability to either talk, write, or make pretty pictures, you can make money.
Absolutely. And if you there's a whole other a bunch of other abilities in there too, you know? Like there's so many things you can do on the internet that you probably never even thought of.
Like reading storybooks.
For
So
example.
I know you read storybooks. I actually had a client that reached out to me. She is a director of 6 libraries,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
And they're like, hey, we can't really do the same sort of things that we do pre-COVID, pre-quarantine. I said,
Yeah.
awesome. Now, how conversations happen. Ooh, that's another one. You never know where conversations are going, right? So she had reached out to me initially wanting to do a replacement for a formal gala, their fundraiser thing.
Hmm.
Whether or not you want to get into, should we have fundraising during COVID, blah, 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 whatever, that's their world. We worked for philanthropists and high net wealth individuals. That's their thing. So how are we going to do this virtual gala, fundraising, whatever? I went, well, I'm not the person for that, but I do know a virtual event company that specializes in nonprofit fundraising. So let's
Hmm.
bring her in and we'll chat. As we're having this conversation, the client post call sends me, or maybe it was right at the same call, goes, this is all great, well and good. I like the gala list, we'll do that idea and I'll work with them, the person that I referred. But I want to talk to you, Em, about ways I can engage my new audience now
Hmm.
that we're all virtual. And I'm sitting here going, I don't have a brochure. Hey, librarians, are you looking for a way? You know what I mean? Are you looking for a way to engage your people? So what we ended up building out was a remote community plan. Like, what do you
Yeah.
want to do? Because for her, she felt excited that she's no longer bricks and mortar bound. So
Hmm.
they did things like they got Samuel L. Jackson to read Go the
Yep.
F to Sleep. And, so you don't even think about it. You go, I read stories. Really? How many teachers would I love just in that regard to get you in contact with? Audrey comes in, reads a story, teacher can go to the bathroom, get off Zoom
Absolutely.
for a minute and be able to go have a break. Like, I think these are the types of things now where conversation, like story, is so important, because coin comes from conversation. I have yet to find a single appearance of coin that didn't come from conversation. Now, it could be digital conversation, it could be graphic conversation, it could be audible conversation. The label on the bottom, it's a conversation.
Hmm. Gosh, that's so true. I love that. Coin comes from conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, yes. And every conversation for me, I want it to be one step closer to coin. That doesn't mean a transaction,
Hmm.
right? And I think for me, I was pushing towards transactions, money,
Yeah.
money, 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 to the point where once I got the gig, I actually didn't do great at it. Oh, wait. Oh, I got to do wait. No, I got to go get coin.
Yeah. I mean, once you catch yourself doing that, that is the big indicator. Like, this is not what you really want to be doing. This is not the real value that you bring. Because I'll tell you, it's so funny. You're talking about stories, okay? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll give you an example with two different gigs that I did recently, okay? One is for an app where people like, listen to stories to go to
Mhm.
sleep,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And so I got all excited about this and negotiated a price, right? And then so, I did a like a trial for them and they loved it. And so then I started reading this story and it was like it's so slow. It's really hard for me to read. And it was like it was just driving me crazy to
Yeah.
read this slowly, right? And then it's so long and I have to edit, all of that.
Hmm.
And so it was like I was so excited about this gig, but then once I
Yeah.
got it, I was like, oh, this is really kind of painful, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
meanwhile, I'm talking to a guy who writes children's stories, and he wants me to read these children's stories
Nice.
for his audience. And, so we negotiated a way lower price because I was like, it's
Mhm.
kids' stories. Like he's a retired teacher. I'm not going to charge him the same that I would
Yeah.
charge, a corporate app, right? And I just put my heart and soul into the reading of this short little, story because I'm
Nice.
thinking about the faces of these
Mhm.
kids as they're listening to
Yeah.
this. Same basic idea. I'm reading a bedtime story,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
But
but you're
in this
looking at
one,
where your energy goes.
exactly, exactly. And so I realized like, wow, this is, you know, obviously I'm more interested in reading stories for people who are actually like engaged
Like,
and listening than
right?
people who are trying to fall asleep. Duh,
Imagine
right?
that.
Subtle difference,
Uh-huh.
right? But it really informs to me how where I want to put my energy
I like
in the
that.
future. I thought that the
Nice.
sleep stories thing would be really cool because it was like a guided meditation,
Hmm.
but it's kind of not. Because a guided
Right.
meditation, they're actually like with you and
Yep.
following along with you, not
Right.
trying to tune you out and go
Right,
to sleep.
right. Turn you into white noise. Well, and then I would also ask, is there, reflecting on the difference between doing something pre-recorded and live,
Mm-hmm. Mm,
right? Noticing
absolutely.
between that myself. Someone will ask me to do a presentation pre-recorded. It doesn't matter what the topic is on. I stumble. I'm not a scripter. I'm a riffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I am not a scripter, but they'll be like, hey, but we'll pay you stupid money. Okay. No, but it's
Okay.
it's not what all right, I'm gonna try it. And so, I've still got two more left this year, but this idea, okay, if that's something I am gonna do, I'm not saying that it's not, but yeah, we've got to adjust it. Maybe it's guided meditation, maybe it's some other thing rather than just throwing the whole thing out, which is what I want to do. I want to be like, nope, I'm never doing pre-record again. I don't like it.
Right.
This is not the thing. Okay, coin though, be prepared to
Mhm.
have a solution for it should it land. Um, I totally dig that, going like the things that spark joy in coin.
Yeah.
Talking to people trying to sleep, not so much
Not so
joy in
much.
coin.
But the thing is, it's fine. Like it's not, I
Mhm.
didn't hate it. I
Right,
would
right.
do it again for, the right
Yep.
price. But
Right.
it's just important to know the energetic difference of taking this job versus this job. And the thing
Oh
is,
yeah.
if this job isn't here yet and you take this job might not show up or you might not be available when it does. Every
Right.
yes is a no to something else, something that
Right.
often you didn't even know was an option and hasn't even showed up yet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that because oftentimes, like, even per project, because I'm not terribly creative, but like with clients, like I've had to fire or part ways with clients
Mm-hmm.
and be stressed out and go, look, I know I'm grounded and this is the right thing to do, but I am not loving this decision that I have to make. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at multiple digits of things that I have to go, you know what, let's just walk away from this, friends. But then as soon as twice now I've done that, and as soon as that has happened, another client has come in,
Yep.
like within 2 weeks, different project or better, or they shine in some way. Like maybe this client wasn't responsive. Now the next one's like beyond responsive. So I suppose slowing down to listen for that is something that I've kind of had to learn. But yeah, how do you, like, I was going to say for you, like how do you typically, I'd love to know how you weigh and spend your energy. You just
Yeah.
mentioned that, reading kids books is energetic. What else
Yeah. So it's a funny
sparks
thing
joy?
how, just like you said, when you lose a client and you're like sad about it, or you have to fire somebody and you're like, oh, that sucks. And then magically, the universe provides. I don't know how that happens. But when I say, like, I've learned this, that when I say no to a project, it almost always turns out to be the best thing that could have happened.
Oh, nice.
If I say yes to a project that I know is not the right project, it is always a disaster. I always wish I hadn't
Yeah,
done it, right?
that's fair.
Because
Yep, yep,
your gut tells you, like, this
yep.
is not the right client for you. They're gonna be a pain in the butt. Like, this is
Yeah.
not gonna go well for you. But you're like, oh, but I need the money. I need the money so bad.
Hmm.
Well, guess what? You need that energy. You need that energy to make the
Yeah.
money, right? And
Yeah.
so a
Oh, I
couple
love
of
that.
times recently, this has happened where somebody's written me and been like, hey, I need this. And I'm like, mm-mm. I know, I just know, like, mm-mm, that's not going to go
Nice.
well. And so I very politely, let them know, oh, I'm very busy with other projects, or, this isn't the what I do.
Right, right.
And then immediately, like immediately, something else falls out of the sky. And I go,
Oh, I love that.
thank you.
How validating. How validating.
How
And
validating.
surrounding yourself with the circles that feed you,
Yeah.
right? So just right there, when you're saying like, for lack of better, I'm open to you're open to the world of possibilities, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
going no to this one, but you right there, you natively have an openness and acceptance for other stuff to come in, right? I also think I'm growing out of, for lack of a better, the assistant world is built on trauma bonds, or let me say, assistant relationships are
Yeah.
built on trauma bonds, right? We're all the defeated, the dejected, and the downtrodden, right? And let's get into our sorry circles, and we're all just, this sucks. When I noticed, and I was in those, and I was in there trying to rescue people. That's what I didn't realize. But also, I've realized, I had to make the tough realization, right? I'm in this admin corporate world. I'm drinking from the same well for 15 years. I
Yeah.
was like, y'all, I got to get some new influences. I need to make women business owners. I need to meet male business owners. I want to expand out of this. Once I got out of the dejected, the downtrodden, and the defeated, guess what happened? I no longer felt dejected, downtrodden, and defeated. When I surround myself by the powerful women that speak to me, guess what? I don't have the weight of everybody else's pity and complaints. Not saying that I don't care about folks, and I do, but to the point where we have to protect ourselves, right? And
Mhm.
go, look, I can't help you with this,
Yeah.
but know that you have enough confidence in your boundaries that, hey, but something else is going to come through. I feel like a lot of my corporate career was just slogging through these defeated, downtrodden relationships
Yeah.
rather than opening yourself up.
That's such a good point. I think absolutely, especially, as an executive assistant, like we get paired up with these people who often are, they seem to be high flying, they seem to be really
Mhm.
successful, but once you actually get to know them, you're like, wow, you are depressed. Uh,
Yeah.
you are a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true that what you surround yourself energetically is what your
Hmm.
life becomes. And so the decision to work with creatives, creators is what I call
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because whether you're creating a business or you're creating a book or you're creating a podcast or you're creating a performance piece, whatever it is that you're creating, if you're
Yeah.
aware that you are a creator and you are creating, then yeah, I want to hang out with you,
Nice.
because so many people just don't get that. They don't see
No.
themselves as creators. They see themselves as, oh, well, I have to react to everything that the world is throwing at me. I had this great conversation with my husband the other day. So he, I always think I'm like, he's my primary client, right? I'm
Right.
always
Right.
like coaching him and helping him because he's got a million ideas, and like I love to see him, bring his ideas to fruition. So we were
So fun.
talking about how, so many people are going around in the world, like, the teacup ride.
Hmm.
It's like they're sitting in their teacup and they're like, why do I keep bumping into all these other people? Like,
Yeah.
these people keep bumping into me. Like, that is so rude. Like, why are you hitting me all the time? And then you look and go, oh, wait, there's this thing in front of me. Oh, it's a
It's part of a
it's a
whole
steering
actual other
wheel.
thing.
Okay, okay, yeah. I'm actually the one driving. I just
Yeah.
wasn't driving, right?
Oh, I
And
like
then
that.
and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry everybody. Sorry I bumped into y'all. I got
Yeah.
my steering wheel now. Like, I'm good." But until you actually recognize
Hmm.
that if you're not driving, you're
Hmm.
still driving.
Yeah. Yeah. The lack of involvement is a type of involvement.
Yes, you're just
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be reactive and ping off of everything
Hmm.
around you. And that's still
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah. 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 It's reactive driving, and it's, for lack of better, victim-based driving, but you're totally
Mhm.
right. Because as you were saying it, I'm all processing in my brain. No, I don't think of myself as a creator at all, which is likely the roadblock that I've been pushing up against for 18 months. I'm
Right.
not a creator, right? I'm not a trainer, and I'm not an educator. Mm,
So what are you?
right. If you're not that, then what are you? No, you really are that. You're,
Yeah.
an educator, enabler, let's plan it out, do whatever. But yeah, you're totally right, especially if you don't think of yourself as a creative, because I don't. I mean, I'm not creative. To me is like artistic words and pictures and things like that, or, dance and motion. I am clumsy. I don't write. I don't paint. I don't do it. So that's actually some pretty good food for thought. I don't think of
And
myself as a creator.
and that's why I use the word creator or
Yeah.
creation rather than
Yeah.
creative, because when people hear creative, they
Mhm.
automatically think about the arts.
Mhm.
And that's great. The arts are important.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there's all kinds of creation happening that isn't specifically imaginative or artistic, but you're still
Yeah.
creating. Everything you do
Yeah.
is creation. If you made breakfast, you created that breakfast.
Yeah.
As soon
Okay.
as you have an idea,
Mhm.
right? You have an idea and you decide, okay, I'm going to set this idea into motion. I'm going to schedule this into my life. I'm going to plan to make this a reality.
Mhm.
That's creation. And it happens on the tiniest little scale of like,
Yeah.
hey, I have the idea that I'm going to get out of bed and put my clothes on. And then I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. That's super empowering because it gives like it gives non-artists permission to say you create stuff
Which
and
you
help
do.
guide. I'm just because I'm me and I'm selfish, help guide me into what does that mean to be a creator? What do you create? How do you do it? What's your process, right? Because I'm thinking like creatives in terms of arts and like you all have a creative process. Like writers, they got to shut their door and write an outline and then build it out. Like you have that. But if you don't feel like you're a creator, that you're an operator, right? I've got that. I'm putting it on my little mental noodle. I'm gonna have to journal on that one.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of which, this is the perfect time to segue. I usually do a little uh, exercise. I was like, example. No,
Sure. Oh
exercise.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Usually do a little exercise at about this time. So let's do this, okay?
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to have you close your beautiful eyes.
Oh Lord, you're gonna have me sit
Okay.
still. This
Yep,
is
yep,
gonna be
yep, yep.
weird.
Sorry, sorry. It's temporary. Okay. So take a deep breath. All right. I am going to wave my magic wand. And once it is waved, all your greatest and deepest desires will come to pass. And I'm going to ask you to describe for me what you see, hear, and can taste, touch, and smell in this beautiful new reality. Okay? So,
Mhm.
magic wand waved. Everything is perfect. I want you to, in your mind, sort of wake up in your ideal reality and tell me what you see.
I have a full room VR gaming setup.
Woo!
I'm just kidding. Um, the idea, like I can see this because I am rowing towards it dang near every day.
Mm-hmm.
I want the freedom to pursue my creative interests, whatever those are. I want
Well, hold
to,
on, hold on. Let's pause
oh,
right there.
mhm,
Whatever those are, right? So I want you
yeah.
to see something. You are doing something in
Mhm.
this space that is bringing you meaning. It's bringing you purpose. It's making you feel like you bring great value to the world and you're giving your gifts, your true gifts to the world and they are appreciated. What do you see yourself doing?
Training guild masters.
Beautiful. So I want you to see in front of you a
Mhm.
guild master that you are working with. You can see them on a screen or in person, whatever you choose. But I want you to see that you're training this person. It's probably a woman, right?
Mhm.
It's a woman.
No, no,
Okay.
it's probably a dude. It's gamers, but maybe.
Let's say it's a woman. Okay.
Mhm.
And you see her just get it. Like you've just given her this beautiful golden bit of wisdom, and you see her eyes light up, and she gets it. And she turns to you and she just says, thank you so much. That's exactly what I needed. What do you feel when that happens?
The absolute best ever. Whether
Awesome.
there's coin or not. But
Yeah.
that right there, when someone has an epiphany moment, I get it. Thank you. That hands down, bar none, the best currency I can think of in my entire life.
So,
Thank
how are
you.
we going to scale that up? So, you've got these, one on one situations,
Mhm.
but I want you to be able to do that to a whole bunch of people at the same time. So, what is it that you're creating to make that happen in this space?
I used to think it was going to be like a book because that's
Mm-hmm.
what people do.
Sure.
However, I'm not a writer and I don't have
Mm-hmm.
any ambitions to be one. Um, so my
But you are a talker.
I am a talker.
So what I see is I see you off the cuff speaking,
Mhm.
improvising to a whole bunch of these people at the same time. Now, again, that could be virtually
Mhm.
through an online course or a webinar.
Mhm. Mhm.
Does that feel right to you? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want you to see yourself. You're sitting in your comfy chair. You know, you got the lights on you and you got your little camera here, but you can see all these people listening to you. Some are taking notes, some are looking up,
Mhm.
and you're giving them gold and you can see it.
That's the best feeling in terms of personal selfishness. Having roadblocks removed
Mm-hmm.
is the best feeling for me. And so I feel like if I can help remove some big roadblocks for others, they'll go forward faster, better, stronger.
Yeah. So you're just firing on all cylinders here. This is really working.
Yeah.
And I want you to look back into your memory as you're sitting here in this beautiful space that you've created. By the way, look around the space and just tell me what you see a little bit. You're in the perfect space for this work. What does it look like?
A full new office and
Mhm.
gaming rig, like all the like the tech studio that I want, the
Yeah.
actual kind of physical space with the physical devices that will help me weave the digital experience I want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got the cutting edge, latest technology. What do
You
you
know that 65-inch carbon fiber wrap dual motor LED light gaming desk? I got one of those.
one of those, baby? Absolutely. What does it feel like? Is it smooth?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want you
It
to run
feels
your
professional. It feels like not IKEA, no knocking. It
uh-huh.
feels like what I do on this surface is serious. I know that might sound goofy, but like this matters. This isn't an end table that I'm pulling in front of a milk crate and
Yeah.
trying to
It
bootstrap some
feels
stuff down.
it feels substantial. It's
Ooh,
got
yeah,
some
yeah,
weight
yeah.
to it. Yeah. Yeah. What color is it?
Black.
Black. Shiny, shiny black.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Nice. Okay. So now I want you to look into your memory and think about the roadblocks that you needed to clear away, the obstacles that you needed to clear to get to where you are right now. What did you need to do to make this possible?
Apparently make 4.7 million mistakes.
Of
I
course.
had to make a lot of mistakes.
But can you,
Being grounded in your interest and pursuit, that it is okay to want something outside of duty.
Mhm.
Not like poopy, but like like your sense of duty, like the idea that it is okay to want to do things that other folks don't, right? I'm not married, no kids. That's okay.
It's okay to
Now, I mean, I
play.
say that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay
It's
to
okay to
play.
play. Absolutely. So you had to play a lot to get here, it
Hmm.
seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good statement. I did play a lot.
Mhm. Mhm. So I want you to think about, you can open your eyes now if you'd like.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
want you to
nice.
think about how you can incorporate more play into your life now. How you can actually make playtime important time for yourself and schedule it in and respect it as part of your process.
That's bone chilling in a really good way.
Uh-huh. Scary, huh?
It super is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just me personally, I was like, just make sure my eyes are watered. Um, I think, yeah, because I don't play. Meaning I enjoy what I do and I have a fun personality. I'm just sitting here reflect like I don't play. I binge watch RuPaul once a month, or you know what I mean? Like I'll take a day and I'll actually just go binge on Ru But that's about it, really. Like, interesting.
Interesting, isn't it?
Interesting. The fun person. Back to there's one of those foundational shifts. Oh, I'm a people person. No. Oh, you're fun. Yeah, but I don't
But I don't
have fun. I
play.
don't know. Yeah. I mean, I have this guy, but he only goes out once a month, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. See, I'm going to expect, oh, you got to self-actualize and find your confidence and do all this other stuff. But you nailed it because it's, specific to the person. Yeah, I don't play. And honestly, so I haven't played since the avalanche.
Yeah. Do you want to tell that?
Today.
Do you want
Yeah,
to tell
well,
that
I was gonna say,
story?
so 2013, I got buried in an ice fall avalanche. So we were hiking
Wow.
a frozen waterfall and had the upper shear come down, and I got buried in about, I don't know, a few 100 pounds of ice. So the reason why it was scary, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it was scary.
Getting covered in
P.S. I
ice.
didn't
That
wet
doesn't
my
sound scary at all.
pants. You would have thought you wet your pants in an avalanche, but it didn't. I did have a Wile E. Coyote moment. If I could paint, I can tell you what an oncoming frozen waterfall looks like. Had a Wile E. Coyote moment, but got bit, tried to, so long story short, but we're coming across this where the river actually would flow if it wasn't frozen. So I call it the sea of ice penises because it looks like, because it's all frozen from where it
Yeah.
was. So we're like crawling over across these sea of ice penises, and there's a cave up top. And I'm with a friend of mine that's a ranger, and we're another friend, like we're fairly experienced hikers. I mean, we're not mountaineering, but so we're like, okay, we've got gear, temperature, we're doing all the stuff. And the two dudes got into the cave a little bit quicker than I did because they're just taller, longer legs or whatever. And I
Sure.
stopped to take a picture of this beautiful waterfall, and they're videotaping me. And my then spouse was like, you better get moving. And I said, yeah, I'm just going to take a picture. Massive. I know what a waterfall splitting in half and all of that falling down. So heard the crack, had moments of rumble, right? Time dilation, where everything just goes, whoa, right? I see the crack. I see all of this stuff coming down. I look over at the cave. The guys are like, run, right? So I'm like, right, okay, and it's not run, it's climbing at scale or what have
Yeah.
you. And I closed about half the distance, and I'd fallen or I'd done something. And so I got back up and I looked at the thing come, and I looked at him and I thought, game over. They said it was Wile E. Coyote, like I was missing a sign, like game over. And then I was immediately confused. Well, what do you mean game over? Right. And so by this time I can't hear anything. So they're going like this. Oh, right, get down, get down. So I jump, crawl into a ball. By the way, the place where I crawled into a ball, the only place I would have survived it. The only, had I been anywhere else, not a chance. So I crawl into a ball, I get everything but one of my legs out. And then it was just like boom, 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 just ice, because it was frozen waterfall. So these are all big chunks of ice from 10 to 80 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
So I hear it, right? And I was like, oh, I better turn my head, and I'm trying to hold I didn't have, you hold your neck, like in tornado warnings, right? Like, and I'm trying to do all that. So it lasts for just a moment, right? And then my friends were really great. The ranger, he bird dogged me, which is what you're supposed to do, right? Somebody, if that's happening, don't move where they were. And then my spouse is yelling or whatever at the time. And so within moments, they had me unburied and I could hear what was going on. Now, my then spouse is 6'4". So I'm pretty sure he just grabbed me by the back of and went, okay, and flung me up into the cave. However, I had got there, but then we had video after that. I don't remember the video, but this is so me. They're apparently asking me questions, and I looked very pointed at them and said, it sounds like you'd think an avalanche would sound like. What a ridiculous question. And so apparently when I go into PTSD mode, I'm just very like pragmatic about things.
Yeah.
So in that, I feel like, and the reason why I bring that up, because I think that's when I stopped playing. I think that, and when I did that, that had implications that fed into my career, into my relationship, into the things. I stopped playing. oh my God, I almost died. I mean, not actively thinking, but oh my God, I almost died. Every day has to be,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I'm all sitting here thinking, oh yeah, I need to recover from trauma. No, girlfriend, you need to figure out how to have fun again. You need to be able to
Uh-huh.
like exhale. Like just that exercise of walking through there. I would not have expected the guild gaming stuff to come out because that's been dormant for a minute.
And yet that was the first thing you saw.
Yeah, it's clever. I see what you did
You
there.
see what I did there?
I'll see what you did there. That's not often I get gotted. I got it. No, I'm kidding. But really though, like you're in terms of just sheer joy, like getting 100 dudes together that I don't pay in order to be supremely top performer, you know, back in the day, I had 6 server first and all this stuff. Like everything I learned about organizational development, I learned in video games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's video
Mm.
game for? What's that for?
Video game fun, money, fun and money, money and fun.
Play? No?
Play. Yeah, it super is. That's just
Mm,
how often I get a big thing to go, you
that's
know,
what
I don't
I
know what you call
do,
that.
baby. That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Which most folks, like I'm sitting here going, most folks will be like, oh, I need a business coach. Right. Meaning if I'm sitting here in my own shortcomings, right? Which I am, right? Because I've spent the last 18 months trying to build a business, trying to stack skills to build a business versus I'm a gamer consultant. Why didn't I do that? So the idea of going on, not a business coach, I don't need a life coach. Can somebody just help me figure out what to do? I don't know if that makes sense. Like I've hired 4 coaches and they haven't done that. But they do different things. I'm not knocking them.
Sure.
It's different
No.
things.
Yeah. Everyone has their gift. And this is
Yeah.
mine. It's what I
Yeah.
do. Is I just help people get aligned with what they really want. With what they really, really want. And that is so much harder than it sounds.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's not like most will ask, what do you want in such a way that you try to see the end result
Mm-hmm.
versus you walking us through the experience of the thing that makes us happy, right?
Right.
I mean, because I would have expected that had I seen that exercise in advance, I would be like, oh, what do you really want? I want a giant pile of money that nobody knows I have. Like, I want to be the eccentric that's wearing Converse with, you know, $5 million, whatever. But you didn't take it that way. Like, what do you want? You took it into these things. How do you see? How do you feel those things? And then the coins added on. So you just kind of,
Yeah, I flip things.
I
So
like,
what I love to do, I think more than anything, because people what they get really hung up on is,
mm-hmm,
well, how do I get where I'm going? Okay, well, the first
mm-hmm,
question is, where are you going and why?
mm-hmm,
Because when people think, you know, oh, I want this, I want that. Well, do you really? Is that really what makes you happy?
mm-hmm,
When you think more, and I go back to this a lot, the core desired feelings, when you think about what actually brings you your core desired feelings, what do you
mm-hmm.
desire?
Yeah. And how to even sit and ask yourself that.
Hmm. And the magic is that you can actually feel those feelings every damn day. Nobody can stop you. You can have the life you want right now just by
Yeah.
focusing more on what brings me my core desired feelings and doing that
Mhm.
more. So I know it's scary. It really
Yeah.
is to focus on things that feel frivolous, things
Mhm,
that
mhm,
feel playful, things that feel lighthearted.
mhm.
We are told over and over again, that's not serious, that's not professional, that's
Right,
not
right.
important.
Right, girl gamer, right? Like had I stuck with it pre-Twitch, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
for all I know, I might have been the ninja. Just
Right.
saying.
Hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's frivolous, but does it bring you oh,
And it's not too late. It's never too late, is all I'm going to say about that. So
right,
I
right,
I prescribe you, although this is terrifying, I know, everything we want is on the other side of our fear, right?
right,
So
right.
face that fear head on and just schedule in playtime. I really challenge you to do that.
That is, and because it's you, that's a very serious challenge that I'm
I
here.
know.
I respect, love,
At
and adore.
Lance.
And yeah, because stuff matters. Like we are going to spend our energy from now until the grave, no matter what. The energy is going to get spent. It is either going to get spent in stress and pain and self-reflection and giving of other, like all of these things. Our energy is present and it's going to burn out. How do we spend it? How do we get more intentional with it? How do we give ourselves permission to review it? I love all these things.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Where can the folks at home find the Savvy Ninja?
Yes, please visit us on supportsavvy.com. We are going through a rebrand right now with all of this community events and moderation and all this stuff. So we're going to blow out some bigger, better packages. We're going to have some workshops and training. So we're going to have 3 ways where you can do it with you, do it for you, or teach you how to do it yourself. And so stay tuned for that. And then my consulting brand, if I can give a preview next year, stay tuned for hustleheartandcoin.com. Go check it out.
Nice. When does that drop?
That drops after Support Savvy gets dropped. No, just like I'm getting the bibs, getting the Support Savvy one out because that's the biggest demand. In next March, there's likely going to be a pretty big conference that I am co-producing with another collection of brands, and just the short version, y'all, we're targeting 100,000 in terms of audience reach, and it is going to have everything to do with building a self-provoked life and path towards coin.
Gorgeous. I love it.
Yay. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for continuing to spend your energy on us. Thank you for aligning yourself to the people, the topics, and the themes that we want to hear. Thanks for being brilliantly awesome and not necessarily just pontificating is like perhaps some casters do. Like what you do in your unique value, you already know that, but I'm going to tell you anyway so that the other side of your brain goes, you know what? I need that validation too. Because folks who are grounded sometimes need to be reminded.
Everybody does.
Yay.
Everybody needs validation. Everybody needs support. Everybody needs somebody to pat them on the head and say, you're doing a good job. We all need that. So thank you. Thank you so much.
I love this. I love this. Super fan and excited to share.
You're wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Awesome possum.